Shall I start?
Yes.
Okay. Namaskar and good evening to all the participants, members, and dignitaries and resource persons. So before we start, I would like to introduce myself. I am Ms. Babita Sharma. I have more than 11 years of teaching experience. I also take pride in being one of the founding members of ITES Reservoir. I'm net qualified, PhD pursuing, and right now I'm working as an assistant professor at the Faculty of Journalism and Communication, the Maharaja Sahajirao University of Baroda, Vadodara, Gujarat. Uh, uh, I have also written chapters in a couple of books and edited. Recently got the opportunity to be an editor in a book, and that's all from my side. And so I welcome you all. I welcome you all in the day two of a one-week national workshop on the topic of research redefined tools, techniques, and thinking, jointly organized by Communication Today Media Journal Jaipur and Writers Reservoir Jaipur in association with Bhoomi University Dehradun. So yesterday we learned about the foundation of research, how it works, the basics. So and today's topic is literature review and problem identification. And resource person for today's session is Dr. Smita Sharma. Dr. Smita Sharma is an associate professor currently working at TAPMI School of Business, Manipal University, Jaipur. She's an accomplished academician with over 20 years of experience in higher education and research. She also holds a PhD degree in management from University of Rajasthan and has completed postdoctoral fellowship at IIT Kanpur, and she has also done a fellowship with ICSSR. She's a gold medalist in MSc Environmental Science. She also holds the MPhil, MBA, and BSc degrees. She has served at Presidency University Bangalore, Indian Institute of Rural Management Jaipur, and University of Rajasthan before joining Manipal University Jaipur. Her teaching expertise includes digital marketing, marketing analytics, consumer behavior, brand management, retail, and research methodology. Dr. Sharma has published widely in Scopus, Web of Science, and ABDC listed journals, with recent work in IEEE, Engineering Management Review, SAGE, and Taylor and Francis. She has received research grants from UGC and ICSSR, along with honors, along with various honors such as University Gold Medal and Best Paper, RDA 2014. Her research interest centers on sustainability, digital transformation, and consumer behavior, and she actively also contributes as a peer reviewer for various leading journals. Ma'am, we welcome you with these virtual flowers.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizers, Communication Today Media Journal, Writers Reservoir, and Bhoomi Uttarakhand University for inviting me as a resource person for this workshop, Research Defined Tools, Techniques, and Thinking. It is truly an honor to be part of this enriching initiative. I'm especially grateful to Professor Bhavna, the conveners, Professor Goswami, and Professor Sanjeev Bhanawat for giving me the opportunity to interact with such bright and inquisitive minds from media and other academic streams. So, engaging with passionate learners and fellow scholars today is really I look forward for a deeply rewarding experience and more meaningful exchanges in the session today. So, with this, I would like to tell you at the very outset that I'll keep this session open for most of the things because I want you to learn hands-on apart from the theoretical aspects which are there. So I'll just share my screen. I'll start with the presentation, but I also want you to take back something in terms of how and what literature review is, how it adds up to the total experience of being into research and what all things we can learn with the new AI tools. Maybe that also I'll take up at the end of the session. But before that, I'd like to have a conceptual understanding of what literature review is and how it works out in the paper. So if I can know a little bit, like 30-70% of you all are PhD scholars or you completed your PhD, you can raise your hands. All those who are still in the process of pursuing PhD or some sort of research writing. Okay. So we have plenty of people out there. Great. So I'll tell you how to do it hands-on also. You all can try it out on your laptops or whichever devices you are logged on right now. But before that, I'll tell you a conceptual background and how it was done 10 years from now. So when I started with my research journey with Professor Mehta, that was way back with Rajasthan University in 2013. So we started with the basic ideas of how it works on, because these tools and techniques which are relevant right now, which are being provided, are not there with many of us at that time. So I'll just tell you how it started with the basic conceptual aspects, and then we will come down to how AI is helping us out in terms of a major tool, helping us out with what all things we can incorporate with literature review. Okay, is it visible to everyone? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll start with a small quote which states that write for a cause, not applause, write to express, not to impress. And writing isn't just about being noticed, it's also about being remembered. So whatever you're writing today in terms of whatever field, especially the people who are there into media, communication, it's very important for you to be noticed, not only be noticed, but also be remembered about for what you have written down. Okay, so keep this in mind when you look into the research writing process also. So this will be the presentation flow today. We'll define what literature review is. We'll look into the various approaches, the types of literature reviews which are available, the process and the skills which are developed through literature review, the key prompts, the common pitfalls, like most of the things when the papers are rejected from most of the top journals, what are the major ideas behind that, how you can avoid that, and we'll look into the funnel method. I'll also tell you how to use the various databases which are available, some which are open source, some which are paid, and how you can use that into your research writing. So, what exactly is literature review? We say whenever we start with something, we always have to look back and understand what is existing. So, history tells us the mistakes which we shouldn't be repeating. In case of literature review, it works in a similar manner. You have to understand what is already created, what is already there, and then we can think of what next to start with. So it's primarily, as per what Cinder has said, that it's a knowledge production within a field of business research or any other field which is accelerating at a tremendous speed, while at the same time it remains fragmented, because the way AI has come up, it's trying to club up the various disciplines and trying to come up with an accumulated knowledge. So to understand and to assess the collective evidence which is there, in this case, it can be a business research, it can be a research related to your domain. And that is why we say that literature review is something which is more relevant than ever, because we have to understand what exactly is already there in that particular domain, in that particular area, that particular topic which you have chosen for your research study. And then from there, we can pick it up and move ahead. So this is the definitions, the various definitions which are there. We have the Webster definition, the Baumeister Cranfield Smart definition, which was given. So it's actually an integration of the various perspectives which are there, the various empirical studies, the conceptual studies which are there, and to try to understand what exactly has happened earlier, and what is it that the gaps are in terms of what has been left for us to study. So if you look into the aspect of how this aspect of research review or literature review came into it, if you interact with your friend or multiple friends during a coffee break or a breakfast, you try to come up with a premise, and then you try to understand what he or she is going through, try to understand what all things are happening in his or her life. In research, it happens in a similar manner. Whatever you're trying to understand in what all things have happened, what all are the conceptual aspects which have been developed, what are theoretical backgrounds which have been developed, all this information comes up. But with the present generation, what we see, it's too much of information. So if you have too much of information, you should know which one works best for you, which is the one which is relevant for you. So you need to understand all those aspects and then start working on. These are the various approaches which are there for literature review. So we can have A typical purpose, like take for example, if you want to synthesize, you want to compare the evidences which are already there in literature. So this kind of literature review is what we term as a systematic review. We have a semi-systematic review and the other one which is termed as the integrated review. In case of systematic review, it's the research questions are very specific. We need to understand a particular aspect related to a particular domain. Take for example, if you look into digital marketing, like what is it that persuades the consumer intention to purchase certain products, or what is it that creates an intention to visit a particular restaurant or a particular hotel. So in that particular case, the questions have to be very specific. So the search strategy over here also remains very systematic, and the sample characteristics are primarily quantitative in nature, and the evidence of contribution, it comes in terms of evidence of effect, or it comes in terms of informing the policy. In case of semi-systematic, the research questions are normally broad, and it's an overview of how the research has developed. Mostly the bibliometric studies which are there in the field. These are the ones which you look into over here. So it may or may not be systematic. The research articles can be are the major sample characteristics. You have the qualitative as well as the quantitative aspects, and you have the knowledge themes which are generated. So the thematic aspects of creating a theme, that also works out with this kind of literature review. And then lastly, we have the integrative one, which is again more qualitative. We look into the research articles, the books. I'll tell you how to do it through the various web tools which are available. These are the different review types. Like we have the narrative review, the systematic review, scoping review, meta-analysis, which is again aspect when we take the multiple reviews, combine them, and come up with the analysis of that. A realistic review, like take for example in the media and communication, why certain interventions work in specific context, if certain changes have been brought about by the government, why they are working. So that kind of review is termed as a realistic review. Narrative review, again, it's primarily a thematic summary to find out what are the major themes which are emerging, and these are primarily flexible in nature. Now, this is the process of literature review. This is the conceptual part, understanding how it works out in on paper. So you have a design phase, you have the conduct, the analysis, and the last phase, which is termed as the structuring and writing the review. We'll start from the first phase, which is understanding how to design a literature review. So these are the specific questions which are required to be answered before we come up to the design phase. The first aspect is whether this particular review is needed, because most of the time we land up with areas where ample amount of research has already been conducted. So most of the journals, they reject the paper saying that there is nothing which is additional, nothing new has been added to the body of knowledge, and this can always be cannot be considered. So what is the contribution of conducting a particular review? You need to understand that. Is it actually required? The second is there a potential audience for this review? Do you think there are people who might be interested? Now, in case of marketing, take for example, we look into the industry partners, we see that there is something which is relevant, which we can cater to the industry, or something which the industry requires and we are trying to put forward to them. In your case, it can be the communication aspect with the general audience or the people who are there. Is that kind of review required for that audience? Do they require to read this? Next is, what is the specific purpose, the research question which that particular review is addressing? I'll show you some research papers and try to help you understand how we frame research questions in bibliometric analysis. But we need to understand what is the specific purpose. Is this review addressing something which is important? Next is what is the appropriate method, how we can go, should we go for a systematic study, a semi-systematic, or an integrative aspect? We need to look into that. And what is the search strategy? I'll tell you the search strategy in detail when we'll do it hands-on. The second phase is to conduct. Like take for example, is the research plan which you have developed in phase one, is it going to produce an appropriate sample, or does it actually needs an adjustment? So do we have the appropriate sample for that particular research which we have thought of? What is the practical plan for selecting the articles? How you are selecting the articles? Is there a particular filter you have applied? Is there a particular aspect or region which you are trying to look into Is there a particular period which you are trying to look into? So you need to look into all those practical aspects. Next is how will the research process and the selection be documented? How will the quality of the search process and selection be assessed? So these aspects are, because see, whenever we do a bibliometric analysis or any other analysis for that reason, we say that it should be trustworthy, it should be something which is credible. The reliability and validity of the research both should be there. So in that case, the quality is something which we need to look into. So how you have gone in for the search process, how this particular selection can be assessed, all these aspects should be taken into consideration. The third is the analysis part, when we need to understand that what type of information needs to be abstracted to reach that specific review. What is the quality of the information? What type of information is required? Will the reviewers be trained to ensure the quality? Like the quality which I have, or the results which I have received, are the same results can be replicated at the reviewer end also. So all these processes have to be looked into at the analysis phase. And the last one is the structuring and writing of the review, which states that are the motivation and the need for this review clearly communicated? Was it actually required? That was the first question. Then what standards of reporting are required for this specific review? What information is required to be included? Are the results clearly presented and explained? Is the contribution clearly communicated to the review which you have conducted? So these four phases, again, starting from when you're planning it out to when you're writing and structuring it out, are very, very important. And you need to keep all these questions in mind while you're devising that particular literature review. So systematic review, as I told you, it uses certain methods to identify, to select, to appraise, synthesize the results from similar studies which are similar but which are separate studies. And meta-analysis is something which we are conducting on the review. So you have multiple reviews which are being conducted in a particular field, and you are trying to analyze that. And again, it's an optional component. Whether you want to go in for meta-analysis, you require more systematic LRs which are required over here. Skills which are developed. So whatever you are doing through your research writing, are there any skills which are being developed apart from you being curious about a particular topic? So that is the first stage. You have that curiosity to think about a particular area, a particular domain, and address a gap which is there, or address a problem which is there. So what are the skills which help or which are developed during this exercise of literature review? So it's primarily to formulate, of course, focused, meaningful research questions. The search literacy, how to search. Is there, are you able to locate high quality research articles? One thing which I learned right from the starting of my career from Sophia College Ajmer to IIT Kanpur was that you should be able to understand the quality of what you're reading. It's more like garbage in, garbage out. So if you read low quality journals, definitely you're going to write that piece. But you have to move up the ladder starting from down, the first ladder, right? So you have to go on understanding and reading quality journals. That is again very important. If you start this at the very basic or the starting end, definitely it's going to help you out. Are there any relevant sources, databases which you are using? And can you critically appraise those? That is again very important. I'll tell you how to do the critical appraisal when we do it hands-on. This becomes very essential, because if you're trying to identify the gaps, take for example, if it's a methodological gap or if it's a conceptual gap, you should be able to critically appraise that. You should be able to understand how how to evaluate it. So that synthesis, that evaluation will only come once you get into the practice of how to do the literature review. Again, if you're writing the review, it will definitely strengthen academic writing, argumentation, which is again very important. And you have multiple tools with AI coming up. This has, like, it's become a child's play now. But you need to ensure that you have to put in your own Google mind over there. If you don't do that, rely totally on AI, it's going to be a waste. Okay, this common pitfalls, we'll leave it right now. I'll come back afterwards. I'll do a small hands-on to help you understand how it works. Okay. Is the screen visible to everyone? Right? Yes or no?
Not yet, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, just a minute. Reshare it. Okay, is it visible now, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, from all
Yes,
those
ma'am.
people who have joined, the participants, can I have a okay? Can I have a particular topic of your research? Anyone who wants to ask me or put down something about their research? Any keywords who want me to search out and tell you how exactly to work on your domain?
Ma'am, AI in social networking sites.
AI and social networking. Okay. So we'll start. Sakshi, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what we are going today is the initial starting phase. How do we start with a literature review? So there are not many people who are going to tell you about how to start reviewing. They'll tell you multiple things that this is the way you have to do, and you have to read through each of these papers, go through every single thing which is there. But at what point of time, if you're not curious enough, if you're not inquisitive enough, it becomes a roadblock for you. So to start it the right way, and this I learned during the FTP at IIM Ahmedabad, how to start it the right way, to have a right understanding of what kind of research are we doing. So Sakshi, yours was AI and social media.
Yes, ma'am.
AI social media, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we've taken up Sakshi's keywords over here. So what I'll do initially while I'm reviewing is I'll keep these keywords and I'll write a single word which is review, right? And I use Google Scholar because 95% of the papers, whatever you see, the paid ones and the unpaid ones, the open access, are all available on this single platform, which is Google Scholar, right? So what I'll do is the first paper which I received over here is adopting AI techniques for monitoring social media activities. But I wanted a literature review. Okay, there are two aspects. One is a keyword where you put down a review. And if a field, because a relatively new field might not have a systemic review, I'll just try it out. Okay, this is health computing or social media review, social media to AI, improving research on digital harms in youth. Okay, I'll just use the review aspect, review AI and social media. Okay, so this paper is second over here, but it's towards adopting AI techniques for monitoring social media activities. AI driven. Okay, I'll just look into some more these papers which are available over here. Another one more thing which is important over here. When you're putting up anything on the Google tab over here, the Google Scholar tab, provide a custom range. See what happens when you look into the papers which are there. It's very important that they should be relevant enough to the field. And the second thing which is important over here is to have a time period. And the time period, the more the recent papers you have, the more the impact it creates. So what I'll do is I'll create a custom range over here, maybe from 2021 to right now, just 2025. So these are the recent ones which I can get over here. Might not show the 24 one, but I'll just look into this. Okay. So AI techniques for monitoring social media activities. This is one. Understanding AI. And I'll go through this one, which is specifically written in terms of a review. Let me see whether this is available over here. Okay, it's a mini review. Impact of digital technology, social media and AI on cognitive functions. Okay. You also need to look into what domains, right? That is also very important. So whether it's from a sociological point of view or psychology point of view, I'll just download this. So, okay. So this is a review which is there for a particular paper. I'll just get it over here. So Sakshi, is this something which you're really pursuing your research on, something that you like to work on? Sakshi, are you there?
Ma'am, may be somewhat related, but mine is, to be more precise, AI generated content on social networking sites from a perspective of youth engagement.
Okay, so you have the youth engagement part also. So the next when you write, we can again funnel it out to youth engagement. Okay, so what we are
Okay.
doing out over here, I'll just uh, put in terms of what is reflected in terms of a review. A review is going to tell you where exactly the domain started from, what all are the initial nitbits which are available in the domain. So if you look into the intro part, okay, it says that in recent years, okay, I'll just increase this. So in recent years, the proliferation of digital tools such as smartphones, social media, and AI technologies has ushered in a significant paradigm shift in our interaction with information. So they are telling you about the tool, and they are telling of the impact of these digital tools on the brain, right? So as we strive to comprehend the effects, become increasingly challenging to differentiate between mere correlation and actual causation. Uh, okay, so extensive research has demonstrated. So what is it that has actually happened in terms of attention? So people who are there on social media, what all studies have been incorporated over here with regard to that? Now they have also reported about this phenomenon of continuous partial attention. Okay, this is again related to aspects related to the attention syndrome, which is there. Factors contributing to attentional overload, which is there into the digital world. So they have jotted down all the factors in this review. Next, what they have done is now there is an aspect of AI. I don't know how many of you all will be able. You can view the summary, everything over here with the help of AI. So if you have an interactive AI tool, you can get the generative AI summary over here for this particular document. So this will help you understand what the document, what is the main points. You don't need to read it through. Of course, I suggest if it's a review and you're doing it for the first time, please go through the entire text. Please read some 5 to 10 reviews which are available in your domain. So you can look into what all aspects are there, the factors in this particular case. Now, coming back till the time AI is generating that, I'll just look into what all aspects they have reported over here. Okay, so based on the age groups, they have reported the various effects on children, on young adults, on the older people, and the strategies to maximize the benefits. Okay, this is still generating. So you'll get an overall summary over here. Okay, this is one aspect which you can look into. Let us look into some other paper which is related to this. Not this one. Let me go back. Okay, just a minute. Let me reshare it. Okay, is it visible, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is doesn't appear to be a very good journal, but still, for the sake of understanding, we just look into that. So this is towards adopting AI techniques for monitoring social media activities. Okay, again, it shows a view summary. You can get it through AI also. So it's telling you about AI. It's telling the problem statement. It has been proven that AI applications at every stage of the user helps organizations to display the products. And the main question is, what is the reality of using AI applications on social media? And these are the sub questions which they have tried to develop over here. Okay, this is something which you need to look into. Don't go through the entire paper in the first. You need to get some 5-10 papers and then try to look into what are the earlier studies. Now, this paper, I told you, it's not a good paper. So what they have done is they have written about the various studies. Now, normally, we don't follow it this way. We try to follow a logical flow whenever you're trying to put in terms of literature review. Okay, results and discussions. And we'll come up to the recommendations. They haven't gone into the limitations part. So study has recommended to develop AI mechanism in social media, conduct more studies on the contribution of AI to increase the revenues generated by social media platforms and reducing the cost of creating and managing social media, conducting experiments. So it's telling you about what next can be done. So this is one thing which you can look into. So what happens when you're reading through a review? We'll look into the third paper also. Let me see if this is available. It's an institutional analysis. Okay. So next is what we can do is we'll go back to this paper. And we'll just see whether they have incorporated something in terms of further research is needed to better understand the complex relationship between technology and the brain and to determine optimal ways to use digital technologies for optimal cognitive growth. Okay, these are the lines which you can copy and paste in a Word document with every article which you are looking into on the Scholar. Okay, so I'll go back to Scholar. And I'll try to look into some more papers which are this. So AI and social media and integrative literature review. Let me see if this is available. Yes. Okay. AI and social media and integrative literature review. Okay, I told you the different kinds of literature reviews. This is one which is integrated, okay, relying more on the qualitative aspects. So again, it's trying to look into the relationship, try to read the abstract first, okay, and then look into what is it that they are trying to do. So they are trying to build up a relationship between AI and the social media platforms. And the review is contributing to what? The review contributes to the interdisciplinary understanding of AI shapes the shape by the social media environments, implications for platform governance, digital literacy, and future research directions. And what we as a researcher are interested in is this future research directions. Okay, this is what you should be looking into. So you can look into the questions which they are trying to answer. I told you it's more of a qualitative result. They have put in the steps. See, they have given the search strategy, how they have done it. They have written in what all things have been included. See this period, January 2018 to 2024. Try to restrict the period. Keep it for 5 years, max to max 10 years. Don't go beyond that. So if you go beyond that, it creates a problem because then there is an information overload. You don't understand what has to be kept and what has to be excluded. Then the analysis, I'll tell you how to do that. These are the applications, recommendations, user behavior, predictive analytics. These are the aspects which they look
Also,
at.
ma'am, I wanted to understand how to decide this time frame. Like in my thesis, like from like if I should take 5 year study or if I should take
See if you're
papers for
writing.
10 years.
See if you're writing a
Because
research.
mine is a comparatively newer topic, so I am generally stuck
Uh,
many a times.
That's the thing I told you initially. It will be till 5 years because you won't get papers beyond that. If there is a seminal work, what happens? Take for example in marketing, if you're writing about the buyer models, or if you're writing about the buying behavior, you cannot go away without mentioning Isaac and Eisen. You cannot go away with mentioning the proper the researchers who started with all these elements out there. So if there are certain conceptual models which you are looking into, take for example, if you're looking into intention building models, so you should be knowing the seminal works which are there in the literature about it, right? Now, in this particular case, if you're writing a research paper 5 years back, if you look into, you might not get that many papers. So keep it for 5 years, that's enough. But if you go 10 years back also and you can find something, maybe if it is relevant enough, you can incorporate that. Okay. So what are the computational methods they've used, the experimental methods, all those methods are already there over here. Now, theoretical frameworks. Now, when you're writing research review, it's very important for you to understand that there will be certain concepts which have been developed. The conceptual model will be the intention, you have conceptual model. Buyer behaviors, you have certain models. If you look into the technology acceptance, you have certain models. So you have to look into the models, and you also have to look into the empirical researches which are available in the field. Both these things have to be incorporated. Not that you're just focusing on the conceptual part, you're missing down on the empirical part. All these should be available over here, right? And this is what you should be looking into, the research gaps. Okay, so he is mentioning about the longitudinal studies, if it is for a longer period, about how the algorithms are shaping our lives. So he's saying more researches are required over there. Cross-platform comparative analysis, which is there, the global and cross-cultural perspectives, small and alternative platforms, methodological. See, these are the areas where you will identify the gaps. Okay, if you go in for identifying just by reading on your own, some 10 papers you've read, and then you think of identifying the gaps, you won't be able to do it. So try to do it very systematically initially. So what you have to do is you have to look into the scholar part, look into the review portions, the papers which are having a systematic review, and then look into the limitations which they have kept in over there. So these limitations, they kept it for policymakers, conclusion, and the references. Okay. Uh, they have mentioned that the theoretical frameworks increasingly a mutual shaping of the technical and social elements. These integrated perspectives provide richer explanatory power that approaches treating technology as either neutral or autonomous. So you can address, it is asking you to address the challenges at social media intersection, which are required at multiple levels. So what are the levels? Technical design, organizational practice, regulatory frameworks, user education. So when you are working on, take for example, this particular topic, what is it that you can look into? You look into user education, you can look into the organizational practices, you can look into the regulatory framework, because this paper, which is a review paper itself, is telling you that these are the areas where further researches are required. So once you have identified, not that one gap, multiple gaps you'll be able to identify. You can identify gaps in the methodology, you can identify gaps in the conceptual part, you can add up certain elements over there, certain variables which you think can be added. And finally, you can look into how these aspects of researches are addressing certain challenges which are there, which are still there in the domain. You can consider this to be a part of your research topic. Did you get it, everyone? Till here, is it clear? So this is the first step. The first step is to understand what all reviews are available in your field, and second, how to get. So each of these papers, what you need to do first is look into the topic, keep on the citations. If you use Mendeley, well and good. If not, that in that case, you can just look into the abstract, look into what the paper is trying to explain, and straight away go to the methodology and the limitations which are available in each of these papers. Copy and paste these in a Word document. This will be the starting point of identifying the research gaps in a particular domain. Okay. So this is one aspect. I believe till here it is clear with everyone. Okay. Okay, great. So next is searching by relevance. Okay, you sort by date, and second is search by relevance. So based on what you have put down, okay, either by date or by relevance, if something which is very relevant, most of the seminal papers will come up over here. So if I'm removing the custom range from here, okay, if I remove the custom range over here, I'll get the papers which are considered as to be relevant in that particular, the seminal papers which we see. Okay, so this Annals of Operation Research, it's a reputed journal. I don't think so this will be available. It won't be available. Okay, this upsearch, look into the top journals which are there in your field. That is again something which is very important. I told you garbage in, garbage. If you keep reading the low quality journals, the ones who are providing open access, of course, some top publishers are also providing open access, but always try to look into the ones which are relevant in your field and the ones which are top quality. Identify the top 10 journals which are there in your field. Okay, so this was about Google Scholar, how to use it to identify the review articles and start working on the gap part. This is the first thing. Now, coming down to the second aspect. Now, how do I search? How do I come up? How do I understand how many researches are available in my field? How do I know that? Is there any platform which can help me understand that what all things. So in that case, we have to go to the databases, right? So this is one particular database. You have Web of Science, you have PubMed in case of the medical field, you have Scopus in case of most of the top journals which are there, right? Is the screen visible to everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So this is the second stage. Once I have understood what all aspects are there with regard to the particular topic which I'm trying to understand, the second thing which I'll look into is how many articles are there with which have used those keywords which I'm trying to find out. Okay. So take for example, if it is AI and social media, right? So this is the Scopus platform which is there, and Scopus provides you a database of most of the quality journals. Around I think 90 to 93% of the journals you will find up over there, over here. Okay, in this particular database, you need to log in either through the institute or through your individual IDs. Okay, you can create your account over here, and this particular platform, it tells me that there are about 6,101 documents which are available with these key terms, right? Now I'll make small changes to this and show you how the Boolean phrases work. Okay, what I'll do is I'll add up a search field. Okay, now when I'm adding up a search field, what is happening, it's asking me for the Boolean phrase. What is it that I want? Is it a and, is it a or is it and not? Certain things which you want to exclude. Take for example, AI and social media. I don't want to look into the health aspects, okay, or the aspects which are related with cognition or with thinking or with psychology, anything. What is it that I want to exclude? I can put it up over here, which is termed as and not. And if I want to add up something more, so Disha, if you can tell me one more keyword over here.
Ma'am, youth engagement
Youth engagement. Okay, we'll keep youth over here. And we'll add up one more field, which is
and
termed
social
as
networking sites, maybe.
engagement. Okay, social media is somewhat related to that. We'll keep these. Let me see what the results are. So we have kept AI, youth, and social engagement. So I want all the three to be together, right? This is how I have given. I want this, this, and this. So I've kept and as the Boolean phrase. So let me see whether there has been a change in the result. So the results earlier was 6,101 documents. Hmm. So you can see how the number of documents has substantially reduced. It's just 17 documents now, which are incorporating all these three. Okay, now I change this Boolean to or. Okay, let me see whether will be a change now. Search. So instead of and, for engagement, I have kept or. Oh, it's still showing. Okay, it's showing 700 documents now. Okay, so you can understand when you keep or when you keep and how it works. Now take for example, I want to remove this engagement and not. I don't want anything which is related to engagement over here. So I'll keep and not, and I'll research this. Okay, it shows 65 documents now. So I hope you are able to understand what I'm trying to do over here. I'm trying to look into what all keywords are important for my research. So if I'm looking into just AI, social media, and youth, and I don't want to look into the engagement component, I have around 65 documents. For others, I may have multiple others. So the more you increase in terms of and, this funnel is going to increase. Okay, you'll have more database which will be added up. The more I try to filter it out, and what is more important in review, that you funnel it out, that you reduce, because of course you're not going to read 700 papers, neither you can read 6,000 papers, but 65 documents is something which you can go through, right? So you can look into this particular aspect of incorporating AI, social media, and youth. So next thing what I can do is I can export this particular database in the form of CSV, RIS, BibTeX, plain text. I can directly import it to Mendeley for all those people who use Mendeley, RefWorks, Zotero, EndNote. Okay, all these are reference managers sites. If you haven't learned them, haven't created an account for them, please do it by today. This is again very important. When you submit your papers to multiple journals, every time you have to change the way you reference it out. So these are very good tools to manage that. So what I'll do is right now over here, I'll download a CSV file. Okay. So I'll click on all the documents. I'll require the bibliographic information. I'll require the abstract and the keywords. I may not require the funding information. This I can skip, and I'll click on export. Okay, so how many documents? I have 65 documents which are being exported to this. Okay, I haven't clicked on all, just a minute. I'll click on export. I'll go to CSV. I'll go to the bibliographic information, the abstract and the keywords, funding details. If you want, you can get that, and I'll export. Okay, so this is exporting the documents. You'll wait for 5 minutes. Let me see if it comes up. Any questions till now? Anyone who wants to ask anything? We have time right now. Yes? Any questions from the participants? So no questions means either you understood everything or you understood nothing.
Ma'am, Iram Rizvi has raised the hand. Maybe she
Yeah.
wants to ask something.
Yeah, sure, Iram, go ahead.
My question is that suppose we don't have access to Scopus. I mean, for example, the college or the institution we are associated with, they don't have the Scopus subscription. In these cases, what can be done? Is there any, database other than Google Scholar that gives us access? I mean, PubMed and Google Scholar I know, but Scopus I don't have access.
See, most of the top journals will be associated with. There is also Web of Science, which you can utilize. It also has many other journals, which are again top journals in the field. Web of Science is for free. You can use that. And apart from that, Google Scholar itself will provide you 95%. Only 5% is something which you'll find which are not there, which are in Google Scholar, which are there in Scopus, which are not there in Google Scholar. Otherwise, almost all will be there. You won't find much difference over there. But Web of Science is also a database which is reliable enough. You can use that. That's for free. Clarivate. Okay, that you can go to the Clarivate website and you can create your account and you can use it for free. And otherwise, if you want, I can help you out with, if you give me the keywords, I can help you out with the Scopus database also, okay? Okay, coming down, let me check whether the file has come
Ma'am,
up.
I have a question.
Yes.
Madam,
Please
in which, yeah, you mentioned that in the Boolean, you can eliminate certain aspects like the variables, like,
Yes.
cognitive impact. So is it not risky or imprudent for us as researchers, or because there might be many other aspects in that particular paper or journal which we might be missing out, not just particularly, there might be just one paragraph in a particular paper that would have dealt with the cognitive impact, but there might be many other important, the context and the content which we might have missed just
No,
because we
no,
are chosen this?
no,
Yeah.
Professor Reddy, it's just for your explanation. It's nothing to do with what that girl is trying to do. It's just to help you understand how Boolean phrases work. You can
Oh, okay.
incorporate cognition, you can incorporate any aspect which you're looking into. It's just an example which I put in so that you understand what Boolean phrases can do for you. Because what happens normally, we put in and that
Yeah.
increase of the database, it just goes on increasing. So we have to exclude. Take, for example, you don't want to look into the medical aspects of a particular topic, or you don't want to look into the marketing aspects. You can always remove that. So that removal is happening or is being facilitated by that phrase. That is the understanding. I just use it for an understanding of how to use that phrase. Nothing to do with what I have done right now. So you can
Yeah,
use it as
understand.
per your domain. Yeah.
Yeah, the filter can be more specific. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes. You can
Thank
always
you.
go in for that. Yeah. Anyone else? Any question? I don't see the CSV file. It's still being downloaded, I believe. Okay, what I'll do right now is I'll use an existing. Any questions? Okay, you can go ahead with your questions. By the time I'll come up with the Scopus file. Any questions, anyone? Okay, we're done. Mr. Manoj Mishra, any question you have? Okay. See, this is one Scopus file which is existing on my system. This is the way you get that Scopus file from that data. Okay, I'll be using this because it's taking time to download. So what is the information which you've got over here, right? I'll just hold this up. You're able to see the Scopus file, everyone, right? Okay, these are all our papers. Okay, not a problem. So what we have done is, these are the authors. Is the file visible, Excel file, everyone? Yes or no? Okay. So what we have done is we've got the authors, we've got the author names, we have got the author IDs, we have got what all are the Scopus papers which are associated with these authors, the year, the source title, which all are the journals where these have been published. We can look at the volume, issue, the article number, page start, end, cited by, the DOI, the link, affiliation of the author's key findings. Now, what is it that you are interested in as a scholar? Okay, so we have to look into these two columns. Okay. So this is the same way you can build up from Google Scholar also. So what you can do is every paper, you can copy and paste the abstract, you can copy and paste the keywords over here, and the source titles. If you're targeting these journals, maybe you can have a look at the source titles also. Okay. Now, the next step which comes up into reviewing the literature is to understand what you are looking into. Take, for example, if over here, okay, I look into this word which is termed as sustainability. All these articles, because you will be having some 70, 75 articles which are there, and you have to search for those key terms where you want to work on. So take, for example, sustainability. Okay, wherever the word sustainable is there, especially in the keywords, I'll try to figure out those studies which are there. Okay, so this is one. Okay. Now, next, I would look into maybe entrepreneurship. So, whichever keywords which are related to your study, okay, just let me check this out. Whatever keywords you think are important for your study. Okay, it's not selected just that. Okay, just a minute. I'll select the abstract and the title. Okay, abstract and the keywords. Control F, and then I'll try to look into entrepreneurship. Okay, so wherever we have entrepreneurship, it will lead me to those articles. So this in the literature review is the second step, where you're trying to find out which are the studies which are very close related to your domain. Okay, try to figure that out, try to highlight these over here, and then coming up to the DOI, you can get these articles with the DOI. The referencing becomes easier with Mendeley, as I told you. But here you can look into the text mining aspects, understanding what is there in each of these papers. So you can read through these abstracts over here. What is it that they have written? You can read through whatever aspects. Take for example, this particular study. Okay, this is about analyzing the behavior of the consumers towards green hotels. Okay, consumer behavior towards green hotels. So if you're looking into green hotels, if you're doing something on the intention or the consumer behavior or environmentally friendly behavior, you can mark it out over here itself. So this is what you need to read initially to identify which all papers should I be looking into for my study. This again is a very important step, because what happens, we are all lost with multiple papers which are available on Google or any other database. So to avoid that, it's better to have it in RNC, the row and column pattern. Understand what all areas or what all papers are very crucial, very important for your study. And these you can easily mark up by using either the keywords. So you can go for a text mining by just looking into what all keywords are important from the perspective of your study. And these will help you go back to the abstract, read it fully. So you don't have to read each and every study which has been done in that particular area. You can just filter it out over here first by looking into the keywords, what all keywords are important from your perspective, and then reading down the abstract which are related to that particular study. Till here, is it clear with everyone? So what we have done till now is we have looked into how to search for the papers on Google Scholar. We have looked into how to look into the entire database of those keywords which you have looked into through Scopus. We have downloaded the file, CSV file from Scopus. And third, we have looked into a little bit of text mining aspects by going through the keywords first and then reading the abstracts of here. Take, for example, out of these in studies which are over there, this is the one which I feel, these two are the ones which I feel are very near to what I have to do. So you save upon time by just going through these two rather than going through the entire database which is there. Of course, if we go in for a bibliometric analysis or we want to understand who all are there in the field, then in that case, we will have to look into the other aspects which are there. Okay, one thing I forgot to tell you over here. Okay, just a minute. I'll just connect my battery. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll just connect it to the point over here. Okay. So the next thing what I forgot to tell you over here is in terms of Scopus, you need to look into one more important element. Oh, yeah. You need to look into refining of the research. Okay. So this is the author name, the subject area, the document type. You can all look into the publication stage, the titles which are there. But one important aspect, which is over here, is to sort. Okay, so when you're sorting, understand this. It has to be either the newest first, or it has to be one which has, see, most the seminal works will be the ones which will be cited the most. So you can look into the citations over here and the relevance also over here. So please, when you're doing the on working on Scopus, please look into how much relevant is that particular article to you, and second, whether the citations are there. So if you look into the highest citations which have been received by a particular author, there's something which they must have written. So they've written about okay, this cascading author profiling, social network graphs of suicide ideation detection on social media. Okay, so this is the number of citations. Of course, in AI you won't get much citations right now because it's still an emerging field, but this is relatively high enough. So you can look into this aspect also while you are getting the data from Scopus. Till here, is it clear with everyone? Okay. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
Suppose I want to review any kind of article based on census 2011.
Okay.
So, what will be the keywords, or what should I type on Google Scholar?
Yours is what? Census 2000. Just a minute. I'll open it up.
That articles written on 2011, on 2011 census.
You're talking about these sensors, right? Or SORS? Which sensors?
Census.
This one,
Census. Census.
SEN.
Census. CENSUS. Census.
Actually, census. Okay. So you, what is it that
Census
you're looking into? Census 2011.
2011.
Okay. India.
Articles. Yes, articles on 2011 census. So
Well,
census.
that's okay. You're looking into a database. So this database is already available. This is
No,
how
no,
you have
I
to
don't.
look.
I don't want the database. I just want some paper
Yeah, this is
written
there.
on like malnutrition. Sorry, on population geography uh, with help of census 2011.
Oh, that's okay.
Or
This is
based
what
on 2011 census.
yeah. This only you are able to see my screen, right?
Yes.
Population, what you said? Population
Population geography.
geography. Okay. So you've got it. No, understanding the social geography of census under count is using 2011 data, right?
Okay. Is it enough? Census. Okay.
This
So
just write the word review so that you get a review of what all things. So review will help you understand what all things have already happened in your domain. Okay, so if you look into any review article over here, let me see. There are loads of data over here.
yeah, if I want rural urban discrimination in
You
population
will,
density.
yeah, you go through this thing, you'll get, definitely you'll get. There's nothing which has not been done.
Oh,
Everything
just
has
I have to write review. Just I have to write review before
review
anything. I
is review is so that you understand what has happened. If you don't write this word, okay, I'll see. This is the first paper, understanding the social geography of census undercount, right? If I
yes.
remove this word over here, see, this is the same paper which is coming. That means not many review articles are available. So you need
Okay.
to go through these. Other aspect which you can look into is, of course, Scopus. Let me see whether I can get it something for you. So census 2011, okay, and population geography. So you have around 240 documents which are there. Now, if you want specific for India, you can always go in for the country, right? You can see the countries over here. You can just get
Yes.
it all which are there in India. So this is
Okay.
one thing. So you have 240 documents which have already reported something about this particular thing. What you're saying about population, geography, and census. So you'll get it. It's not a problem. Okay. Take for
Okay.
example, if I specifically write review over here, let me search review. – 2011 and review. Let me see, because Scholar was unable to give us a review article specifically. That it has 6 documents. Okay, so you have 6 documents which are related somewhere to the review in your field. Okay, have I answered your
Okay.
question?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other
Thank
questions
you.
anyone would like? Yeah, welcome. Any other questions? So we'll move ahead. I hope you all have understood till here. So this is an open access article in your field. Yeah. So any doubts till here? So we move next. What has to be done? So these are the 2 aspects. What you've done is Google Scholar. We have done the Scopus database, and similarly, you can use the Web of Science database for your study. Okay, this is the third type. Now, coming down to the Excel which you're working on, I was telling you about text mining, how to look into the keywords, how to identify the studies which are very near to your topic. Okay, now what do I do with all this thing? I just looked into the studies identified which are very near. I go through the papers. What can be the next step? The next step is planning it out. That what is it that you want to study? Is it a specific emerging area which you want to study? Is it a specific gap which you want to fill in with your study? What is it? Is it a conceptual base which you want to develop, something which you want to add on to theory? So all these things are something which have to be answered at your end. And then you have to move ahead with these studies for your review purpose. Okay, this is the next step. So let me come down to what we were doing over here. Okay, so conducting it, what is it that you are going to do with these studies? Is there any information which is required? What kind of information is required? If you're trying to collect some data, is it actually required? If there are certain reviewers which have to report, document this particular study, how are they going to do that? These are the aspects which you have to look into. Now, what I'll do is I'll show you a study which was done, a bibliographic study, and this is my own paper, which I can just show you how to go ahead with the next aspect. Okay. So what we have done over here is we did a study. So this is still generating. It's going very slow. So I'll just pause this. This is one study which I did it with some of my friends. So this is a bibliographic analysis of behavioral interventions for India's solid waste management program. So I started with working on carbon credits, and then we slowly moved towards waste management and all these aspects. So this is published in 2024. Not a very good paper, I would suggest, but yeah, it will help you understand of what you do with the literature which you have collected. So what we have done is we have got that CSV file, some 100, 150 or 300 articles is what you can put in over there. And what is it that you have to do? I told you have to look into the keywords and then look into the questions which need to be answered. So in this particular study, what happened? We got some 6,671 papers with a particular, this is the Prisma methodology. Okay, you look into when you study the papers, you'll understand many papers have used this. So if I just type in the title and abstract solid waste, this was the result which I received. N is the number of documents associated, right? Second is the unique records.
কি হচ্ছে তোমার কি হচ্ছে এই বাপরে
Can we mute that participant, Madhuman, something? Yeah. Okay. Now coming down to the solid waste thing. So I added solid waste behavior. Now with behavior, I've added asterisks. If you can see over here. Why I've added? Because the spelling of behavior somewhere is OR, somewhere it's OUR. So you need to be very careful with the American and the English spellings which are available. So with that, I got 431 records. If I add limited it to the affiliating country, India, like you had it for 2011 for India itself, the census. So I have limited, again, it's 431. And again, if I added the publication stage to final, it gave me 426 records. And finally, what is it that we have used 426 studies to create this particular bibliography? So when you're looking into any kind of research domain, you have to understand that how the domain has evolved or progressed with that particular theme. So if it is, take for example, the behavioral interventions in waste management. So what were the papers? Was this study there initially? So studies related to it started around 1976, when we had not even thought of the aspects of waste management in the way we are doing it right now. So 1976 to 2023, there has been a considerable increase in the number of studies in this particular field. Okay, if you look into that CSV file, you can look into the number of documents which are published year-wise. Even Google Scholar will give you this data, that what has been the change in the field year-wise. Okay, this is the first thing. This is with reference to how many countries are working with India on this particular aspect. So this also can be created using certain softwares. You have Polynode. All these are there which can help you out create. It's very easy, just push in the data over there and it will give you the results. So these are the ones. Second is by source, which all are the journals which are associated, which are all the journals which are specially publishing in that particular. Why is it important for us to understand which journals are publishing? Because if the journals are not publishing in that way, it's a waste of time sending your articles and getting a rejection from there. To avoid that, you need to understand what all documents are being published by which all journals. So if it is more with regard to bioresource technology, maybe I can push my article towards that particular journal. So you can look into that aspect over here. And after that, we have just tried to look into or answer the research questions which are there. I'll just look into the research questions, whether we have given this over here. The current study on the field's evolution and acknowledging the contribution. Okay, these are the questions. See. Where does the subject solid waste and behavioral implications stand in the literature? Which noteworthy issues are the researchers emphasizing? How does India compare to other countries in this waste management sphere? Which keywords are the author using the most in industry, which manages solid waste, and enabling of creation of clusters? This I'll tell you how to do that. Creation of clusters on the basis of frequency of a given keyword. Okay, so these are the questions which we are trying to answer by getting into the study, right? So we are doing, I've told you this process, this is as simple. You just move to Scholar, just keep on creating the filters and you'll be able to come up with a acceptable number over here. So these are the records which we have taken for our study. Okay, this is with regard to the country. These are the documents. So again, very important for you to know who all are the key researchers who are working in that particular field. So in our case, it was Satapathy, who has published some 7 articles related to this. You can then, another way is you can always follow these researchers on the Google Scholar ID which you have. You can look into what all other articles they have looked into. So this again is a very important aspect to help us understand who all are working in the field. Next, as I told you, the keyword occurrences in title. So the way you were doing it, you can do it in Excel also. You can create these beautiful maps using certain softwares, which are again very easy. And you can start working on the keyword aspects. Okay. The density visualization again, which all authors have worked together, how many have published, how much. And the keyword occurrences based on the full counting, binary counting is again based on the software. But if you look into this, you can know which all are the keywords which are being specifically used in the field. Take for example, barrier, hazard, adsorption, where, intention, household. These are the keywords which are increasingly being used, because you can get it through Excel also. And if you want, you can go it to the software aspect also. Next is the word cloud. This again is becoming increasingly important with the coming up of AI, social. They're helping us out in creating these word clouds. So we're looking into the keyword as waste management. It should be there in the center with all other fields to which it is associated. So this is what we term as a word cloud based on the concept mapping. And this is what we term as clustering. Clustering, what happens, see, you have different balls of different sizes, right? But they are, some are of the same colors. So the same colors means that somewhere these studies are related to each other, something or the other. Either the keywords match or some word in the abstract it will match. So looking into those aspects, we have these clusters which are created in every domain. Every domain will have some or the other clusters which are associated with that particular field. So this is what we have done. You can identify how many clusters are being created. This is given by the software. And again, you just need to write it down about what all things have been there in the clusters. This again is very important. Tree map, again based on concept mapping. Which keywords have been used the most by the authors. So this is a tree map for that. So starting with the one which has been used most frequently to the ones which have been less frequently used. So you can move it and create a tree map. This is again based on the software. Nothing great about it. These are the clusters, and this is how we used to do it earlier. So you used to get the title of the study, what kind of an article it is, what is the major contribution, and of course the reference number. But this is the way it was practiced earlier when these softwares were not there, right? Softwares make it easy, but end of the day, you have to understand what that particular field is offering you. So I hope till here it is clear, and this is what you need to start it, a bibliographic analysis of whatever you are doing in your field. Starting from Google Scholar to the Scopus database, understanding what has been done, identifying the gaps, and then taking it ahead. So if you do it initially, if you do a bibliographic study related to your field initially, how is it going to help? It's helping you multifold in understanding the top authors, understanding the top journals, understanding the keywords, understanding which domains are still not addressed, which are the gaps. Now, how do I understand the gaps over here? Take, for example, this particular full counting abstract based figure. So you have certain fields which are there, this side, okay, certain keywords which are written down, which are very far from the main domain which is there. So these are the fields which have to be developed. Okay, you can identify these from the software also. You can use our software, you can use Biblio Shiny. These are all available for free, and believe me, they are very easy to work on. You just have to export, put in the file over there, and it's going to give you all these visualizations which are there. Many free visualization tools are available, and with AI coming up, it's become even more easier. So you can get through this. Okay, this is one thing. One. This is again a similar kind of study. Okay, this is similar one. Okay, this is the Prisma methodology. I think this is some other paper. Yeah. This is again electronic waste management. This was written along with my guide. And this is again the number of papers. As I told you, you retrieve that, and you just put in the studies which are there and created these maps. All these are done with the software. It's very easy to do if you work. This is the tree map which I was telling. So the worm waste has been used the most, and then you can create a tree map based on this. I hope till here it is clear with everyone. There's nothing specific over here. Yes? Give me a thumbs up if you understood. I'll move next. Okay. Okay, great. So what is it next? I'll tell you the loopholes. We are there on 750 right now. I'll tell you the loopholes which are there, and then we'll move next to how AI is helping us out in all these things. Okay. This we have done. I'll push this over here. Everyone is able to see the screen, right? Okay. We've done the skills, the common pitfalls. Okay. Now, after doing all these things, what are the pitfalls? What can be done? So, describing the studies in isolation. Now, what happens? We take up some 5-10 studies and we try to describe them. It doesn't work that way. Whatever you are writing, it has to be in a flow and you have to aggregate. Take, for example, if you are creating a premise that green hotels create an intention or green certification create an intention um, among the consumers to visit that particular property, right? This is a premise which I have thought of. Now, there may be studies which might tell that the green certification doesn't help the consumers to come up to a decision of whether they have to visit that particular property or not. In census take, for example, a particular demography, males have more chances of getting promotion, right? Or some other aspect. So there is a premise which you have made for your study. So there may be studies which may differ with what you are saying. It's very important for you to understand initially that you have to keep both the studies together. You have to keep the ones which are in support. You have to keep the ones which are not supporting the hypothesis or the premise which you created for yourself. You need to compare, contrast, and that is how that critical writing skill develops. So how you're critically evaluating, if a particular author is denying the fact that promotions are not as per the gender, you have to know that these studies also exist and you have to incorporate that in your study. Then why do you say that that particular premise or that particular hypothesis stands true? You have to answer that question when you are writing that particular review. You have to say that these are the studies which have been conducted, maybe a methodological gap, maybe a geographical gap, maybe the LDCs or the lower developing countries might not be able to provide that particular status or that particular discrimination which is happening. It's more relevant over there. So you have to put in those aspects and critically develop that review which you're putting up. Okay. Another pitfall is inconsistent inclusion criteria. Why are you including India? Why are you not including some other country? So you have to look into all these aspects. So you should be very clear with the inclusion criteria. If you're relying too much on second, take for example, if you're relying just on a particular census, 2011, why are you relying only on that? Why not on some other census which were conducted earlier? You should have the answers and then a systematic mindset to prove what you're saying. Okay, and this is what helps you out in documenting, in shaping the review part. Otherwise, what happens if the review is not strong? Most of the time, they will say that it's not contributing anything to the body of knowledge and the papers will get rejected. To avoid that, you always have to have a systematic mindset. Next is biasness. You need to avoid biasness, which include the theoretical. I told you initially, you have to include both the theoretical and the empirical papers. Okay. Use a thematic approach. I told you it should be theme based. You should be looking into what is it that is supporting your hypothesis, what is it that is against your hypothesis, and are there any studies which you did not find any significant result. You have to report that also. Okay, so categorize the previous studies into these three parts: supporting, against, and not finding any significant result. So if they've been unable to find any significant result, what are the reasons for that? If they are able to support your hypothesis, what are reasons for that? If it is against, what are the reasons for that? All these you have to critically evaluate and put it up in your hypothesis. Okay. Again, I told you, you shouldn't be missing the recently published articles which are there. You should be demonstrating that you are aware of what is happening. So review should be having the recently published works in your field. So that gives a very good impression that you are aware of what is going on in the domain. Before submitting, you should again perform a quick search to find whether recently published articles, again, which are very much relevant to your work. If you miss on that, it can be a reason for rejection. So you don't want that, you have to put in those work. Key seminal works, I told you, again, very important articles which should be there with every discipline. As I told you, any of the well-known authors which are there. Like you cannot miss Keller in most of the articles which are related to marketing, or Kotler. So most of these people who have done a lot of work contributing to theory development in the field cannot be missed upon. You have to get them away. Again, referring to poor quality papers, I told you it's garbage in, garbage out. You have to evaluate the quality of the publisher who are publishing. The reputed ones, I'll tell you, Springer, Elsevier, Tillen, Francis, Emerald. Look into those. IEEE, all these are the ones. Sage is there. look into the articles which have been published in these journals. And they are definitely going, if you have a good read, 70% of the time is what you should devote to reading, and only 30% to when you are writing. Okay, if you don't read well, you cannot write well. So very important to read well and read good quality publishers. Read the top journals which are there available in your field. Highlighting the research gaps. I told you, highlight the research gaps, the limitations of the past studies which are there in your literature review. These should be there. Okay, and disjointed review. This again becomes a major problem. If it is, there is, what is it that was there in that paper? They have just written this particular author has said that, this author has said that. It doesn't go this way. You have to build upon what all these authors are saying together. So all those authors who are saying yes for your premise, put it up together. All those who are saying no, put it up together, and then try to organize that. It shouldn't be just disjointed. I hope you understand how to write, right? So you put in a premise, you put in two logical sequences supporting that premise, and then we get the conclusion. And that is how we write a paragraph, right? So when you're writing a paragraph, it should be well organized. The flow should be very well point to point. And if you write out, like we teach our students in business writing how to write. So you should be able to know how to write before you are starting to write. Okay, again, the relevance and significance, I told you, get it done from the database itself. And this is what I was referring to, the funnel model. Okay, you have multiple topics, multiple aspects related to the domain, narrow it down and come down to the research objectives. Okay. So, yeah, a thematic approach, again, it helps you to put down the different studies, compare them, contrast that, and summarize. Rather than summarizing the past studies one by one, do it together. Do not review everything which you find on the net. This is again very important. I told you it's information overflow which is happening. Everything on earth you want to critically evaluate, that is not going to happen. That is not going to help you, because the journals look in for something which is more of an academic writing. So when they're looking into it, they will definitely look into the aspects related to critically evaluating the important contributions which have been there in the knowledge development in your field. Okay, so just don't try to review everything on earth. That doesn't help. You bloom if you take time to water yourself. Okay, so this is what I had to share. Now, if I have the permission, can I show the AI tools over here?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, because see, I'm just telling them for your help. It's not that you completely rely on those tools. How many of you use ChatGPT?
Sometimes.
No, of course you should use it as a tool. I'm not against any of the AI tools. You should be using it as a tool for your research. I'll tell you the commands. Maybe I'll share that with you, how to go on with the ChatGPT tools. But the other ones which I even tell the PhD scholars who are there in our university, the ones which are considered to be good enough for 2025. Okay, there's some 5-6 months left for us. And 2025, these were the top tools which are there into research, which most of the people are using. Okay, the top people, everyone is using these tools to understand how it works. Okay, I'll go down to the one which we ask the students to use initially. Initially, when you're trying to find out about your topic, when you're trying to build up a concept map for your research. Okay, now this tool is termed as the research rabbit. Okay, research rabbit. So what is it? It will give you 3 categories: new collection, new category. If you're using Zotero, you can use it. Otherwise, what is it that you have to do? You have to go to this new collection and whatever topic. Okay, anyone who can give me a topic? Yes. Shall I put in the same one? Anyone else?
Ma'am, Instagram buying behavior.
Buying behavior you're looking into. Okay,
Specifically related to Instagram.
We can custom it out afterwards.
ये स्मिता जी आपके स्लाइड के ऊपर ये स्मॉल स्क्रीन क्यों आ रही है?
Yes, sir. I don't know. It's not going back. I'm trying to minimize it. This screen you're talking about, this one, right? I can just make it move down. Is it okay now?
ठीक है.
Okay. So we are looking into the buying behavior, right? Buying behavior.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Which AI tool is this?
This is Research Rabbit.
Research Rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go to all the subject areas and I'll just search about.
Rabbit.
Okay. So what I've done is I have just given it the keywords buying behavior. Okay. Now, because you told me about Instagram, I'll try to see. You have to create an account on Instagram, on Research Rabbit using your Google account or outside. Okay, now this is with special reference to Instagram, right? So what is it? This is Jintwan and Bhat 2024, and these are the papers which are there. Now, I need to add all these to my collection, okay? So I'll put in this, I'll reach whether the paper is as per what I had thought of, and I'll add up to this add to collection, right? Now, this is again add to collection. I'll just add some 3, 4, and then we can move, okay? You can do it, or you can try it out on your systems afterwards. Just try to see how it works, how it develops the conceptual maps for you, right? Okay. So I have added these 70 authors, some suggested authors, which they are telling me, and I can look into these authors over here. Okay. Now, what Research Rabbit will do, it will try to create the connections between these authors. Okay. So there are around 17 selected people. The total published work 937 and 8,158 collaborative workers. Okay. So Research Rabbit is going to tell me what all are the published work. The first author, the abstracts. Let me take the abstracts also. Collaborators. Who all have collaborated. I'll select all. And I'll try to build on the connections which are there. Okay, let me use this. So what you can do is based on the relevance, based on what all things you want to look into. Research Rabbit is going to help you out with building of the conceptual maps which are there. Okay, right now it's just showing for Sharma. Let me see. So this is the paper which Sharma has written, and the PDF is not available over here. Maybe I can look into the timeline. So you can just look into how the field has developed. You just look into 2023, 2024, because I've selected, let me select all. And then you can look into the timeline. This is the last author. So based upon the field, so most of the papers which is selected 2023 and this, you can get which all papers have come up with that particular topic over here. So it will select all, you can always custom it out, and it will create the networks over here, like 2023, which all were published, 2024, which all were published, 2025, which all were published. So you can just go through creation of the conceptual map. Let me see an existing one. Buyer behavior. You can add up the ones over here to your collection. Okay. So whatever things which you were doing, these are the 4 selected papers. It will give you the abstract. It will tell you what it is, when it was published, all these things. And it will show you the connections between these authors. Like take for example these, because the numbers are less, it's otherwise it will show the network between which all other researchers who have worked on this. What is the timelines when they have worked? So take for example, it started from 2007, 2008, 2017, who all have worked in what particular areas or which particular timelines. So this work, which you were earlier doing it through Google Scholar, can be done easily over here. Okay, it will tell you similar works, how many similar works are related to what you have done. You can look into the earlier work, and these kind of networks can be created over here. The networks which I showed you right now, right? So this AI is generating it directly for you rather than you getting the data, putting it in Excel or CSV, feeding it out to a particular visualization software. So AI can easily help you out over here. Is this thing clear, everyone? Yes? Okay, great.
Yes.
So this is one tool which all of you all can use, but please use it as a tool. Don't rely on it completely. There is always a disclaimer which says that you shouldn't be relying everything what AI is generating. So here, what is it? It's helping me out to understand the timelines. It's helping me understand the networks which are there, which all authors have published, when they have published. So all this is being generated in a visual form, which helps me out understand the field, right? Which earlier, can you please mute the participant? Yeah. So it's helping me out to understand who all have worked in whatever timelines they have worked and how the field is being developing. Now, take for example, if I want to identify a gap over here. So what is it that I'm going to do? I'm looking into GILAN 2021. Why I'm looking into? Because these are the areas which need to be addressed. The ones which are over here have already been overlooked. Can you please mute Madhu Manchal? Can you please mute them? Yeah, thank you. So, where were we? Yeah. So I was telling you, these are the fields where most of the authors have already worked. The ones which we have to rely, AMI 2023, Gillen 2021. These are the areas where work is required so that this kind of a cohesivity comes out. It's not there. So that means this work which Gillen has done has not been worked upon much. And that's the reason why this network is not being framed. So you can look into our identification of the gaps directly from here. This is one thing which you can do. Okay, so this particular research rabbit, it helps you out in finding similar work. It helps you out in citations. It helps you out in suggesting authors. It helps you identify the earlier work, the later works. All these things you can easily get into through this AI tool, which is termed as Research Rabbit. So you can try it out. It's very easy, very handy. Just put in the titles, whatever you want to work on, and Research Rabbit is going to help you out. Just sign up using a Google account and it's available. I hope this is clear. Okay, let me check it out, how much time we have. Okay, we still have time. So next thing, what I'll tell you, which is the one you have Jenny AI. Most of you all must have used. All those who haven't, they can use Jenny AI also. But the one which is mostly used nowadays, which is the one which is heavily used, is this one, which is termed as Science Space. Okay. Now, Science Space will ask you what is it that you want to work on. Okay, it will ask you everything. The way I told you, you can just give instructions to Science Space and it will start working on it. Okay, give me something, give me a task to work on. What was it? Buyer behavior.
Ma'am, adoption of industrial IoT in India.
Adoption of IoT in India.
Industrial IoT specifically, ma'am.
Industrial IoT. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll put on industrial IoT.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now this is asking me what is it that I have to do. I have put down a topic, adoption of industrial IoT. I can remove these phrases. Just the keywords will also help me out. And I'll give it a command, right? Now it is asking what is it that you want me to do. Do you ask me to search the papers, deep review, website, latex, data visualization, everything, whatever you want, from Google Scholar to other spaces, everything. So I want you to search the papers, right? Search papers. It's asking me for the sign up. I had already signed up. Let me see. It's allowing me to work for my. We have the paid version in the university. So. So what is it? The way ChatGPT does, it's executing, it's finding some research papers on adoption of industrial IoT. So the agent is running, it will give you the result. Whatever you want to do in terms of getting that databases, what all things are required. So it's searching all the databases for you. Smart factories, industry, India, it's searching Google Scholar, it's searching Science Space. Everything in terms of the search will be done by this particular tool. Okay, it's giving me the title. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so what is it that is done? It has the title, it has the citations for this particular file. It will give you the abstract. Still searching. Okay, see, it has given you the CSV over here. It has given you the files which are related to the archive file, the scholar file. All these are available on ScienceBase. You have the published date, when they were updated, the author names, the DOI, the journal reference, everything is available over here. You have the links, you have the PDF files. So whatever is available for free, it will work on it. Now, take for example, if I have to do a literature review, okay, I'll ask it to do the literature review. What was it? IoT and industrial IoT.
Industrial
Right?
IoT adoption in India.
Industrial IoT adoption. Adoption. Even if we remove adoption, it will work. India. So it is asking, what is it that you're searching? Are you looking into the key drivers? What is it that you're looking into for industrial IoT? Okay, it will think and then it will ask you, can you specify, can you narrow down your search query? What is it that you're looking into? Are you looking into specific industries, any technological aspect of IoT? Should the research include case studies? Any of these you can choose.
We can go into the investment part, ma'am.
Which first, second, third?
Investment that has gone into it.
Can you tell me 1, 2, 3, 4, which one?
Specific challenges, the fourth one, ma'am.
Specific challenges. Specific challenges.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll look into specific challenges. So again, it is executing the queries with regard to, so it's found 24 papers which are relevant out of the 350 papers which are available in the field. So you can look into these papers. Okay, this is one thing. If you ask whatever prompts now you give onwards, take for example, if you ask it to identify any relevant words, additional words, if you identify the gaps in this particular domain which you have provided, it will identify those gaps. It will tell you everything what you want to know about that particular domain for free, and again help you out with the studies. It will sort out the papers by, so everything what you've learned till now, this AI tool is going to do it and hand over the results to you. But there is a dark side to it. Whenever you are using, you should be very sure that these papers, you just cross-check with Google. That is again something very important. If you wanted to create a review report, it will create, it will want to create, ask the methodology, it will give you the methodology. Everything can be done over here. But what is it that is missing is you are not using your own creativity, your own imagination to understand the field. So if you use this initially, it's okay for you to understand what all papers are there, what all are the gaps which are there. You keep on giving the prompt, it will keep on answering you with regard to that particular domain. But you haven't read it. So that is one thing which is missing out over here. So it has got some 1050 papers, which is easier for AI to read. As a human being, it's difficult for you to read or go through. So what you can do is you can use this tool to identify the top papers which are there. Okay, you can use this to identify the gaps, but then you have to go through the top papers which are available. If you don't go through that, then it will be difficult for you to build upon or be confident to what you're presenting or putting up in your literature review. Okay, and again, if you've heard of plagiarism, now the versions which have come up with multiple plagiarism softwares, all of them have this AI detector with them. So AI detection is something which you should be mindful of before putting up, and then you can put in the aspects related to what even it has an aspect of paraphrasing. See, it has a paraphrasing citation generator. You can find the topics. You can even use AI to write for you, but be very careful. That's the reason why I showed you, and with the permission of the chair, I've told you, be careful with these tools. Okay. So it's okay to be using it as something which is helping you out, but to relying on it completely is a foolishness. Please don't do that. Okay, again, it's not ethical. So what is it? It's tell you the insight. It will tell you what is it that you want. You want a summarized aspect. You want the results. You want the literature survey. You want the methods to be used. It will add on the columns one by one. Keep on adding. Okay, practical implications. What have been the contributions? All these things it will add on. But you haven't done it on your own, so you won't understand it that easily. So I'll ask you to use it, but with a disclaimer that you have to be careful while using the AI tools. Okay, it can be definitely used. I'm not saying it cannot be. You can use it. It helps you build upon a lot much in terms of the capacity of the human mind. You can do much more, but you should be very careful while using these tools. Okay, so these are the two tools. One more is there, Jenny AI, with paucity of time, because it's Jenny AI also works the same. Nothing different over there, like work like the search tab. You give on giving the instructions, the prompts, and it will work as per that. Okay, so I'll wind off over here. So I'll open down the platform for any questions, anything you have, you can ask me right now. Yeah, I'll stop sharing. Yes. So keep the platform open. Any questions, anything you haven't understood, anything you want me to look back, you can ask me right now.
Ma'am, there is a question from Rakesh Goswami. He's asking, what about consensus tool?
What is it?
Consensus tool.
Consensus tool.
Consensus.
What is it,
Ma'am,
Rakesh?
you can check in messages.
Okay, let me check it out.
It's an AI tool.
See, AI, multiple tools are there. There are loads of tools. You'll get some 2,500 tools which are available. These are the ones which are, which we have been using, and we have used that to understand the domain. You can use that. Loads of other AI tools are, as I told you, people are using Jenny, people are using this ChatGPT also. But again, it depends on how you are using. It shouldn't be dominating what you're putting up, and you should be very mindful of using that. Okay, so you can use that. It doesn't helps you out. It helps you out in understanding the domain. Minimum number of articles I should review for my PhD. See, PhD again depends on your domain. Take for example, if you are doing anything on AI, you cannot expect the articles to go beyond some 6 to 10,000, not more than that. Okay. And the other thing, what is it that you're trying to do? So if you look into broader down, as I told you, it should be funneling. You shouldn't be relying on everything which is available. So there may be some 10, 20,000 people which are available in your domain. You cannot review everything. So what you can do is you can always funnel it out. But whatever you're reviewing, you should be very sure of what is there. So normally for a PhD, I think 150 to 200 are enough. That is, I think, should be the target. Okay. Yeah, Rakesh, we got it. It's an AI tool. You can use consensus, Rakesh, but be careful while using all these AI tools. Any other question? Anything anyone would like to ask? I hope it will help you out in understanding, reviewing the way you were reviewing it, because I also started in 2013 with Professor Mehta, and he's been guiding me throughout, and I understand it's a journey. So you come to know multiple things, and now with AI coming up in a big way, it has changed a lot, the way things are happening now into the research field. So it's helping out. You can easily use the tools, but be mindful of how you're using. Okay, any other questions, anything anyone would like to ask? Okay, let me check out the messages. Okay.
I don't think we have any noise. This is our
Okay, I hope
complimentary,
I've been
ma'am.
able to come. Yeah, I hope I've been able to communicate and help you out with the research review process. I expect every one of you all to start with the Google Scholar thing. Okay, that is what I expect.
Ma'am, there is a question from Rajshri Biswas. She's asking the minimum number of articles I should review for my PhD.
Yeah, you see, Rajshri, it again depends on the domain. If the domain is like you have multiple knowledge field which has been developed in the field, 150 to 200 is what we expect from the students. You can, if you have time, you can go it till 250, 300. But that is till there, it's okay. And out of that, which some 10 to 15 should be the review, systematic review articles from your field.
Dr. Smita.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening. I couldn't resist myself to just appear.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Truly speaking, it was a very, very useful session for, I think the participants may endorse me that it's a very useful session.
Thank you, sir. I've learned from you.
A piece of suggestion to the participants that whatever Dr. Smita has just spoken or did that hands-on exercise, what is required for the participant is that continuous practice and using all these AI tools. Otherwise, perhaps it would be quite difficult to remember or recall. So what is required is that after this workshop, they should start writing the research papers and taking the help of this Research Rabbit or Google Scholars or the other AI tools that she referred. Then only perhaps whatever we have learned in this session, perhaps it will be truly meaningful. So I must compliment, not because that you have been my research scholar long back, but because it was a really very good session that you conducted.
Thank you, sir. I've learned it all from you.
एक सवाल मेरा है, ये बात जब मैं अनिल जी से सहमत हूँ, और बल्कि मैं तो ये भी कहूंगा कि अनिल जी के कारण ही हम आप तक पहुंचे हैं और पार्टिसिपेंट्स को आपसे रूबरू करा सके। लेकिन मैं कई बार कई मंचों पे हम बात करते हैं, एक व्यथा और पीड़ा मेरी है कि अब जो सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, आपने गूगल स्कॉलर, एआई और इसकी बात की, और हमारी पीढ़ी के जो लोग हैं, जब हम लाइब्रेरी में जाते हैं और वो किताबों का भंडार देखते हैं और एक चीज के लिए मुझे वो 10 किताबें ढूंढनी पड़ती हैं। अभी तो क्या है, जो गूगल ने बता दिया, हमारा जो पूरा का पूरा कंसंट्रेशन है वहीं तक है। आपने वो कीवर्ड डाले और वो 10 आर्टिकल आ गए, 11वां आर्टिकल का हमें पता नहीं। जैसे आपने कहा 65 आर्टिकल है, अब 66 तक हम नहीं पहुंचेंगे, वो पहुंचेंगे हम जब हम लाइब्रेरी में जाएंगे और किताब ढूंढते हुए। तो क्या ऐसा नहीं लगता है आपको कि आज जो रिसर्च हम कर रहे हैं बड़ा इजी हो गया है और फटाफट चीजें हमको मिल जाती हैं, 2-4 दिन में सब चीज ले लेते हैं। जब वहां जाते हैं तो मेरी पूरी ओपिनियन फॉर्म होती है और मैं बहुत सारी चीजें पढ़ता हूँ, जो मेरा कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ता है। हम तो उसी तरह से निकले हैं लाइब्रेरीज, जब मान लीजिए हम उस तरह के वर्क, जैसे मेरा जर्नलिज्म पे काम था, अब मैं गया, मैं अहमदाबाद गया, मैं बीकानेर गया, मैं लाइब्रेरीज में गया, पुराने अखबार निकाले, वो जो सेंसेशन है, 100 साल पहले का अखबार जब मेरे हाथ में लगता है तो मुझे जो रोमांच फील होता है वो अद्भुत है। मतलब तो वो चीज, क्या आप लोग जो नई जनरेशन के लोग हैं वो जब इस टूल पे काम करते हैं तो किस तरह की फीलिंग में और उस तरह की फीलिंग में कहीं कोई फर्क महसूस करते हैं आप?
Sir, thank you for asking this question. Again, if I tell you what all things are going on, अगर इसको हम हमारी जनरेशन की पर्सपेक्टिव से देखें तो किताबों का जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो सर हमेशा ही रहता है, वो कहीं कभी भी आप उसको छोड़ना नहीं चाहेंगे, वो एक बिल्कुल ही अलग एक्सपीरियंस है। लेकिन आज जब पूरा यूथ जो हमारे कंज्यूमर्स हैं in terms of marketing, they are all there on the social media platforms, हम ये इवेलुएट कर सकते हैं कि किस कंज्यूमर ने कब किसको क्या रिव्यू दिया, कैसे दिया, और वो किस चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। वो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन हमें एआई भी हेल्प कर रहा है, और बहुत से अलग सॉफ्टवेयर टूल्स है जो उसके अंदर हम रिसर्च के अंदर जो अब यूज कर रहे हैं, जो पहले पॉसिबल नहीं था। तो अगर आप सोचे कि अमेरिका में किस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बात हो रही है या इंडिया में किस प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बात हो रही है, तो वो मैं सिर्फ एक सिंपल टूल यहाँ पे इंडिया में बैठे हुए यूज करके और वो सब चीजें पता लगा सकती हूँ जस्ट बाय व्हाट दे हैव रिटन ऑन एफबी, व्हाट दे हैव रिटन इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंस्टा और एफबी या फिर ट्विटर के अंदर उन्होंने क्या कमेंट दिए, जो पहले पॉसिबल नहीं था। तो इनकॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ रिव्यूज ऑफ मल्टीपल पीपल वो शायद बुक्स में भी नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स बुक में मिलेंगे वो आपको वहां नहीं मिल सकते।
नहीं, लेकिन मेरा एक सबमिशन और है, मुझे पता नहीं आपके अनुभव क्या रहे। मैं भी आजकल एआई को थोड़ा बहुत यूज करने लगा हूँ, और आपने खुद ने कहा कि उस पर डिस्क्लेमर होता है।
yes.
इतनी गलतियां हैं ऑथर के नाम में, बुक्स के नाम में, फैक्ट्स के नाम में। अब ये तो हम चूंकि इतने सीनियर हो गए, इतना एक्सपीरियंस हो गया, क्रॉस चेक करके पता कर लेते हैं। लेकिन वो जो बच्चा आ रहा है इस फील्ड में, उसने भी एक तरह से उतरा है, और वो यदि उस तरह की गलत चीज ले लेगा तो फिर जो हमारी रिसर्च हो रही है उसकी ऑथेंटिसिटी, क्योंकि अभी जो एनईपी है उसमें इस बात पर बहुत चिंता प्रकट की गई, यदि आपने डॉक्यूमेंट पढ़ा हो, कि हमारी जो 85-90% जो रिसर्च हो रही है वो किसी काम की नहीं है, सोशली रिलेवेंट नहीं है, हमारी इंडस्ट्री को, हमारे जो हमारी कंट्री की पॉलिसीज है उसको दिशा नहीं दे पा रही है। इसलिए नेशनल रिसर्च फाउंडेशन की बात की गई। तो आपका एक्सपीरियंस क्या कहता है कि जब आप इतने, अभी तो हम इंडिया में ही इसको क्रॉस चेक नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, जो फॉरेन उसमें आपने सोर्सेस दिए हैं उनकी ऑथेंटिसिटी कैसे जज करोगे आप? एक कि समय काफी हो गया, छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ। कल मैंने कहीं पढ़ा वर्ल्ड लेटर राइटिंग डे था। अब मैंने एआई और गूगल से चीजें निकालनी शुरू की। मुझे एक डेटा मिला कि जब 47 में कंट्री आजाद हुआ था तब हमारे यहाँ 23,000 पोस्ट ऑफिस थे, और अभी शायद 1,70,000 ऐसा कुछ बताया। फिर कल मैंने एक सोशल मीडिया पोस्ट देखी कि कल 1 सितंबर से वो जो लेटर बॉक्स होते हैं ना जगह जगह रेड कलर के, उन्हें गवर्नमेंट हटा रही है। मुझे विश्वास नहीं हुआ, मैंने फैक्ट चेक करने की कोशिश की, और उसी में मुझे एक अखबार की क्लिप मिलती है जिसमें उन्होंने ये कहा कि इस साल कंट्री के अंदर 3 लाख से ऊपर पोस्ट ऑफिस है। अब वो जो गूगल के सोर्स बता रहे हैं आपको 1,70,000, और अब जो बता रहा है वो 3 लाख। अब हमने चूंकि इतनी मेहनत की और कर लिया तो सोर्स को आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया, लेकिन एआई में इतनी गलतियां हैं कि मुझे लगता है कि इस नई जनरेशन को शायद उससे बचाने की जरूरत है। आप वेरीफाई शायद नहीं कर पाएंगे।
सर सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट, लेकिन गूगल में भी जब हम डालते हैं सर, तो रिपोर्ट्स अगर हम डाल रहे हैं तो हम उसके अंदर एक कीवर्ड डाल देते हैं जीओवी, तो एवरीथिंग व्हाट इज वेरीफाइड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, तो गवर्नमेंट की ही रिपोर्ट्स आएंगी, उसमें फिर इंडिविजुअल रिपोर्ट्स नहीं आती। तो दैट इज अगेन हाउ दे हैव टू लुक इनटू
रिपोर्ट्स में, और इसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। वो जैसे यूएन का है, मतलब वही बात आ गई, कितनी ऑथेंटिक वेबसाइट से आप इंफॉर्मेशन देते हैं। अच्छा, फिर वेबसाइट भी बदलती रहती है, आप मैटर हटा देते हो वहां से, तो वो भी जरूरी है मेरे ख्याल कि आप टाइम नोट करें किस समय आपने वेबसाइट से
यस सर वो रिसर्च पेपर्स में भी दे आस्क यू व्हेन यू हैव एक्सेस।
संजीव जी, आई वुड लाइक टू इंट्रोड्यूस समथिंग। अक्सर हम और आप ये कहा करते हैं कि एआई एक अच्छा सेवक है और बुरा स्वामी है। पहली बात तो ये, इसलिए थोड़ा सा विवेकपूर्ण रूप से एआई का इस्तेमाल करें। और दूसरा, जैसा आपने कहा कि गूगल में या एआई से बहुत चीजें गलत निकलती है, जहां तक सवाल है सेकेंडरी डेटा का, चाहे वो रिपोर्ट्स हो चाहे गवर्नमेंट के डेटा हो, अब सवाल ये कि क्योंकि वो गवर्नमेंट का डेटा है तो हमको लगता है कि ऑथेंटिसिटी उसमें है, लेकिन धरातली ये जो बात है वो ये भी है कि गवर्नमेंट डेटा भी कितना रिलायबल है, कभी कभी इस बात पर भी प्रश्न चिन्ह लग जाता है। तो कहीं ना कहीं तो हमको रिलाई करना होगा। दूसरी बात जो आपने एआई के विषय में उठाई, जब हमने और आपने रिसर्च की थी तो हमारा जो दायरा था बड़ा संकुचित रहा, और आज जैसे अभी स्मिता जी ने जैसे एक पेज खोला तो 100, 200, 400 उसमें चीजें निकल के सामने आ रही है। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि अगर वही बात जो शायद मेरा सेशन भी एथिक्स का है, और ये डिपेंड करता है तो कि रिसर्चर का अपना कितना मतलब वो एथिकल और ऑनेस्ट है, और
लेकिन
कितना
अनिल जी,
कितनी सत्यता
वो
के साथ
जो 100 आपने पेपर दिए वो उसकी रीच सबके पास है।
वो
वो
तो
आपके
ठीक है।
पास भी मेरे पास भी, तो उसमें नया क्या दिया आपने?
नहीं,
तो
सवाल
हमने
ये है
research की थी,
कि
जब
डॉक्टर
हम
भानावत,
लाइब्रेरी टू लाइब्रेरी गए, सिटी टू सिटी गए, और
देखिए
वो
लाइब्रेरी की पहुंच भी सब तक है। एक विद्यार्थी जब बैठेगा और मान लीजिए अगर ये चीजें इस्तेमाल नहीं कर रहा, तो वो जो सोर्सेज हैं उनकी पहुंच भी, या उसमें जो रेफरेंसेस दे रखे हैं उनकी पहुंच भी सभी लोगों तक, ऐसा नहीं कि हमारे अब तक की है।
वही हो
तो
गया कि आपकी
कम से कम
research-
ये जानकारी तो हुई। आज गूगल देखने के बाद जो 50 पेपर या 100 पेपर है, कम से कम मुझे जानकारी तो हुई कि ये पेपर अमेरिका में या अफ्रीका में या बहुत दूर के किसी देश में पब्लिश हुआ है, और मैं कम से कम उसको देख सकता हूँ, पढ़ सकता हूँ, और पढ़ने के बाद नेचुरली अपने खुद के एक विवेक का इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूँ कि ऑथेंटिसिटी कितनी होगी, कहीं तो हमको करना होगा। तो निश्चित तौर पे मैं कह सकता हूँ कि जो ये एआई टूल्स है,
जब आप
लिमिटेशंस आर देयर,
विवेक की बात करते हो सारी चीज खत्म हो जाती है फिर। उस विवेक की ही कमी है।
एग्जैक्टली।
आज एक फोन आ गया मेरे पास, ये कोई HDFC लाइफ से, वो जो लड़की बात कर रही थी उसने पूछा आपकी लोकेशन कहाँ है? मैंने कहा गुलाबी शहर में। कहती गुलाबी शहर नाम का कोई शहर है क्या? मैंने कहा इसको पिंक सिटी बोलते हैं। उसको पिंक सिटी पता नहीं। मैंने कहा आपकी कैसी ट्रेनिंग है, इस देश के यूथ की ये हालत है, और अपन विवेक की बात कर रहे हैं। ये तो डिग्री ओरिएंटेड जब से रिसर्च होगी तो मुझे लगता है ये चैलेंजेस रहेंगे जब हम एआई बेस करेंगे। एक सीमा तक मुझे लगता है एज टीचर कहीं हमें स्टूडेंट्स में लाइब्रेरीज में पढ़ने की आदत डालनी पड़ेगी, नहीं तो मुझे लग रहा है कि ये एक नया चैलेंज आने वाले समय में खड़ा हो जाएगा।
वो तो किसी ने रोका नहीं है, लाइब्रेरी फिर बैठ सकते हैं।
अब
और जो
आप प्रमोट नहीं कर रहे हो ना स्टूडेंट्स को, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ।
जो
Sir,
लिमिटेशंस एआई की है, एक मिनट सर, जो लिमिटेशंस एआई की है,
चलो कल सुबह करेंगे।
उसको सप्लीमेंट करते हो। एक मिनट संजीव जी, एआई की लिमिटेशंस को सप्लीमेंट, हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि आप 100% आप रिलाई करें एआई पर, लेकिन एक मेजर टूल के रूप में एआई को एक एड के रूप में इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं। और उसके बाद इतनी रिच लाइब्रेरीज हैं, तो जैसा आपने कहा कि लाइब्रेरी जाने से किसी ने रोका नहीं है, लाइब्रेरी का भी इस्तेमाल करें, या और भी जो सोर्सेज है उनका भी इस्तेमाल अलॉन्ग विद करें। सोली आप रिलाई एआई पे मत करें, लेकिन नो डाउट यू विल एग्री विथ मी कि एआई इज अ बिग एड नाउ फॉर ए रिसर्चर। दैट्स ऑल।
ये प्रोफेसर राकेश गोस्वामी वो भी कुछ कहना चाहते हैं। ये IIMC दिल्ली में प्रोफेसर हैं और बहुत लंबे समय तक मीडिया से जुड़े रहे, हिंदुस्तान टाइम्स के एडिटर थे, टाइम्स नाउ में रहे। हाँ राकेश जी, वीडियो ऑन करो ना ताकि रिकॉर्डिंग में ठीक रहेगा।
गुड इवनिंग।
हाँ राकेश जी, वीडियो ऑन करो ना।
1 मिनट कर रहा हूँ सर।
ये हमारे रिसर्च स्कॉलर है इधर। स्मिता जी अनिल जी की रिसर्च स्कॉलर है, ये राकेश जी हमारा है।
मैं मुझे बड़ा आनंद आ रहा था इतने 2 सीनियर प्रोफेसर्स की चर्चा को सुन के, तो मैं रजिस्ट नहीं कर पाया। बस मैं एक चीज ऐड करना चाहता था इन सपोर्ट ऑफ टुडेज एक्सपर्ट, दैट शी डिड नॉट स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट एआई, शी स्पोक अबाउट एआई ओनली टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ इट। तो उसी से उसका इंपॉर्टेंस पता लग जाता है। Even she did not want that we should begin with AI. AI को बिल्कुल लास्ट में लिया और एज अ सप्लीमेंट। उसके पहले उन्होंने गूगल स्कॉलर की बात करी, स्कोपस की बात करी। तो हम सब समझते हैं कि AI को कहाँ कितना यूज करना है। पहले हमें जो गूगल स्कॉलर इज जस्ट लाइक अ डिजिटल लाइब्रेरी, सो पहले हमें लाइब्रेरी में जाना है, फिर हमें AI की तरफ जाना है, थोड़ा उसकी मदद लेंगे। थैंक यू।
नहीं चलिए, फिर भी आपका बहुत बढ़िया प्रेजेंटेशन था। मुझे लगता है बहुत मोटिवेशन मिला होगा हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को। पर्सनल मैसेज भी मेरे पास आए हैं और चैट बॉक्स में भी कई लोगों ने लिखा है। और आजकल ये देखिए जो हमारी लैंग्वेज हो गई है ना, ये क्या दिख रहा है, ये थम्स अप कंटिन्यूअस। मुझे पता नहीं कि स्मिता जी को इस पर ध्यान गया नहीं कि अपनी बात करते समय।
So one of the scholars is also working on emojis.
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा। आज की भाषा हो गई है ना। चलिए साहब, है ना? कोई और सवाल? रेणु जी, आप कुछ पूछना चाहती हैं? अभी रेणु जी ने धन्यवाद लिखा है, कोई मन में क्वेरी हो? चलिए बबीता, आप इसको वाइंड अप कीजिए, वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। और
Uh, so, from behalf of the organizing team and the participants, I want to extend my heartfelt thank you to the resource person for simplifying the process of literature review in the world of AI and making us all understand how to identify the research hobbies, how to identify the authentic papers that we can refer during our literature review. Thank you so much, ma'am. As
Thank
a
you.
token of felicitation, we want to present you with a virtual memento and certificate of appreciation for taking out your precious time and being a resource person for today's session. I also want to add personally जैसा ये बहुत आखिरी अभी बहुत heated discussion सबके बीच में होता है कि आजकल के जो बच्चे आते हैं वो लोग पहले ऐसा गूगल पहले खोलते हैं, आजकल के बच्चे चैट जीपीटी पहले खोलते हैं. So it's actually very important to make students not just for research but मुझे लगता है रेगुलर स्टडीज में भी बच्चों को ये चीज रियलाइज कराना, इस चीज का importance बताना कि AI is a tool. You should not rely on 100%. It is very important and as well said by Dr. Smita, उन्होंने भी यही चीज पे emphasize किया कि research में भी आप उसे as a tool use करो but don't rely on it 100%. And also again, Anil sir or Sanjay sir ki discussion was very interesting. I want to give a special thank you to both of them. Uh, Now I request everyone to please switch on their camera so that we can take a group picture. Everyone to please switch on your camera so that we can take a group picture.
बबीता, वो ई सर्टिफिकेट मेमेंटो का है?
Okay. I'm so sorry.
भूल गए वो तो, हाँ.
When I was supposed to present it. I'm so sorry, sir. मैं अभी.
It's okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry for the delay, ma'am.
It's okay. Thank you.
ये ई मेमेंटो है और अब ये ई सर्टिफिकेट इसके बाद.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
सब कुछ आभासी मंच पे है.
Thank you.
और शुरू में जो ई बुके दिया गया था उसके पीछे हमारा भाव ये है कि जैसे फूलों की खुशबू सब जगह फैलती है, ऐसे ही
I think he's lost his connection. So we'll wind up.
ये एकदम पता नहीं कैसे बंद हो गया, ये भी तकनीकी चुनौतियां हैं. तो मैं ये कह रहा था कि जैसे फूलों की खुशबू दिग दिगंतर में फैल के एक तरह से आपको आनंदित सुगंधित करती है, ऐसे ही आपके विचारों की खुशबू इन्हीं फूलों की सुगंध की तरह से दिग दिगंतर में, क्योंकि ये जो आभासी मंच है, ये जो विकल्प हमको मिला है कोविड के दौरान विशेष रूप से, उसने भौगोलिक दूरियों को खत्म कर दिया है. तो हमारी भाषा को, हमारे प्रतीकों को दुनिया में जहां भी कोई समझने वाला है, क्योंकि यहाँ रजिस्टर्ड हुए देश के बाहर के भी कुछ पार्टिसिपेंट्स, तो इसी तरह से विचारों की खुशबू फैलती रहे. और कम्युनिकेशन टुडे और राइटर्स रिजर्वियर ने जिस तरह का ये छोटा सा प्रयास किया है इस वैचारिक चेतना को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, ये इसी तरह से आगे बढ़ता रहे इस फूलों की सुगंध की तरह से. बहुत बहुत आभार कि आपने इतना समय दिया और धारा प्रवाह तरीके से अपने इस विषय का जिस तरह से आपने विवेचन विश्लेषण किया वो अपने आप में अद्भुत है. और बीच बीच में पार्टिसिपेंट्स की जो उत्सुकता थी, क्वेरी थी, उनका भी आपने समाधान किया. हाँ बबीता.
Yes, sir. Truly said. आपने बहुत सही कहा. I also want to thank the participants to be more interactive, and it also helped others जो question नहीं पूछ पाए. I think उन्हें भी कहीं ना कहीं समझ में आया, कुछ ना कुछ नया सीखने को मिला. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. Thank you all the dignitaries, all the members, all the participants. And before I sign out, I want to inform that tomorrow's day 3 of the workshop, this topic for tomorrow's session is research design and data collection techniques. And the expert for the same will be Professor G. Sorrell, former Dean, University College of Commerce and Management Studies, and officiating Vice Chancellor, Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Jaipur. So see you tomorrow, all of you. Have a very good night and good day tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
I also request once again to please fill up the feedback forms for today's session. Thank you.
Sure, definitely, ma'am.
वो ग्रुप में शेयर किया ना, यहाँ तो शेयर नहीं किया शायद आपने.
Sir, we have shared here also. It
सर
has
दोनों
not
जगह
been
कर दिया, यहाँ पे भी और ग्रुप पे भी.
दोनों जगह कर दिया तो ध्यान नहीं गया मुझे. चलिए ठीक है.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, ma'am.
Smita.